25 minutes before 10 o'clock. Got a old friend in the studio. Haven't seen Rabbi Hecht in a while. Good to see him. I guess we kind of missed each other for a while there. Rabbi Hecht is the rabbi of the Chabad. Lubavitch, how am I doing? I just said that to you. Jewish Center of Marion County. He's here to talk about Hanukkah. And this Sunday, right, is the lighting of the menorah. Good morning, Rabbi. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me.
When you first became a rabbi, was it weird to be called rabbi, or like when somebody's first a doctor, it's weird to be called a doctor? Did that happen to you too?
I guess kind of. You don't expect that. Well, you just look at yourself as a student, and then suddenly you become a rabbi.
You went from Yossi to rabbi.
Yeah, but even as a student, we used to travel all over the world, practicing in different Jewish communities, and in those communities, we're always referred to as rabbis. So even before I moved
Oh,
here,
really? Oh, okay.
Yeah, we have a program that we have students who are still studying to become rabbis, and they go all over the world, usually during the summer, during the holidays. I've gone to places like far out in Siberia, in Romania, in Germany.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
We have students who go to the Far East and to other countries where there's very small communities and they can't afford to have their own rabbis. So during the summertime or during the holidays, they'll go out and they'll help these communities.
Wow. You know what I want to ask you? I think this is based on something we were reading on the air. I can't remember, but I never realized that Hanukkah in America is considerably different than Hanukkah elsewhere. How accurate is that statement?
I'm not sure how.
Or does it depend?
I'm not sure how.
Well, okay, the Hanukkah bush. Then this is from growing up in New York. The friends I had who were Jewish would have like a small tree, like a Christmas tree, but it was decorated with Stars of David and other Jewish symbolism, okay, dreidels, and etc. And they always called it the Hanukkah bush. I just figured, well, that's like our Christmas tree. But I was reading that that's not, everybody doesn't do that. They have the menorah is everywhere, but the Hanukkah bush is kind of an Americanized thing.
Right. What you're seeing is the minority. Most people who celebrate Hanukkah don't have those type of things. We have the Hanukkah traditions, and then there are those who feel that they want to fit in with their Christian neighbors, so they may do something to show, well, if you have your kind of tree, then we want to have something as well. Yeah. But it doesn't really have anything to do with Hanukkah.
But I'm not telling you anything new, right? I mean, you've heard this before, right?
Yeah, but that's really the minority.
Okay. They must all live on Long Island. That's what
I didn't know that it's so popular on Long Island.
I didn't know it wasn't. I thought it was like everybody did this. I thought I was being I don't know, I was just a kid, you know.
Mm-hmm. Well, everyone has the menorah.
Yeah.
And that's of course the Hanukkah symbol.
Do you know what I want to ask you about that? We were reading this too. You go right to left to put the candles in, but left to right to light them? Is that how that works?
Yeah, what you're doing is you're putting in the old ones first, and then you're lighting the new one first. And because when you're putting it in, you're first recognizing what you have already done, and then when you're lighting it, you're doing the first thing to bring that new energy.
Oh, okay.
Which is which also is a very good lesson. We have to first recognize what we have accomplished, that we've already passed the 3 nights, and now we're going into the 4th night, see where we're holding in life, and then see what can we do new to inspire us for the future.
So is it exciting right now in the Hecht household? Are you guys having a good time? Has you got eight crazy nights, or do you not like the 8 crazy nights? That's the Adam Sandler reference, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a cute way to look at Hanukkah. Yeah. Of course, we do have some family who came in to celebrate with us, and we come to the square, but the main thing is our friends here in town.
Yeah.
It's one big family.
And that is sure evident all year long, Rabbi, because all year long you always have wonderful events that you invite the entire community to, and you make everyone feel so welcome.
Well, we feel that what we do is, even things that happen in our personal lives, is meant to be education for the community. And we're there to try and teach people what there is that's significant in our lives, and especially in the life of a Jew, and we try to make that part of the community, that they should understand that.
So I've done this with you before, and before we got to know you, we had Rabbi Sam Berman who used to come in, and I hope it's okay to ask again because we do this every year. Could you tell us the Hanukkah story? So for those who've never heard it before, it's a wonderful story, and it's a story of faith, a story of miracle in a way. Is it considered a minor miracle, or is that just a major miracle?
Well, it's major enough that we're celebrating it
Yeah.
2,500 years later, right?
Yeah.
Well, the Hanukkah story takes place in the middle of the Second Temple period, which is about 150 BCE. And what happened then was the Syrian Greeks were then on a voyage to try and conquer the world. And as every major world leader that has ever tried to conquer the world, one of the most important destinations is, of course, Israel and Jerusalem. And the Greeks came into Israel and tried to take it over. And they felt that the way to do that was to try and bring their culture and philosophy into Israel and into the Jewish community, especially in Jerusalem. And so what they did was they erected their coliseums and their arenas all over, and eventually they took over the temple. And instead of having the sacrifices in the temple, they erected their idols, and they destroyed anything that was significant or godly in the temple. And the priests at the time, who were then hiding out in the Judean hills in the town of Modin, they realized that the Jewish people were in a very low state, and Jewish people were being killed for keeping Jewish observances, such as any child who was circumcised was killed, and the mother.
Oh, wow.
Any Jew that kept the Sabbath was to be killed. Anybody that kept any of the Jewish holidays were to be killed. And this was a very devastating time for our community, for the Jewish people. And so a small group of fighters got up. They were called the Chashmonayim, and they said that we have to take back our heritage, we have to take back our land. And they stood up and they fought, and a small army, which they became known as the Maccabees, they got up and they started fighting battle after battle against the Greek army, which was huge armies and very powerful armies, and miraculously they won battle after battle, till finally they were able to take back the holy temple in Jerusalem. When they came in, they saw a devastating scene, that it was completely destroyed, it was completely lost, and everything was upside down, and they finally had to go and clean it up. And as was done in the temple every single day, the menorah, which we have in the temple, had actually 7 stems, not 8 the way we have it. It was time to light it. And in order to do so, you have to light it with olive oil. Well, they had to go and search for the olive oil, and they only found one pure jug of olive oil that could be used. And it was only enough to last for 1 day. They lit it, and it lasted for 8 days, which was the amount of time it took in order for them to get new oil. So this was a symbol at the time to show that even though things looked very devastating and very bleak, but it was a miracle that stood out that stood out, expressing that God is here, and that we still are God's people as a nation. And this was something that was very significant, and therefore our sages felt that it's something that we should be celebrating year after year. And the truth is that the whole idea of Hanukkah is that even in devastating and dark times, we could still find that light. We could still find that flame that continues to shine, and that is essentially what the miracle of Hanukkah is. That even though times were very devastating, but still there was that flame that shone for the full 8 days. And that's really what it's all about. That even when times look tough, and today you look around and things look very dark, and people seem to be very challenged in many different ways. So Hanukkah tells us that you can always have that light in your lives wherever you find it.
Yeah, I love that. And what it says to me is that God is always there. No matter what you're going through, God is always there.
Yes, and sometimes it's expressed in a light, sometimes it's expressed in a miracle, it's expressed in different ways, but you have to find it.
So it's like the saying in the army, I guess, that if you're an atheist, you won't be an atheist in a foxhole, right? Because that's when you say, okay, I gotta hang on to something, and that's what I'm going to hang on to. What before the temple you're referring to, is that the wall, the Wailing Wall? Is that what's left of that temple, or is it a different place?
The Wailing Wall is the outer walls of the temple area. It's not the actual temple walls.
Oh, okay.
There were walls that were erected by Herod during the Second Temple era, and they were basically to protect the inner courtyard of the temple. But the temple itself is all of it that we know of is destroyed.
And the thing in Jerusalem with the Golden Dome, what is that? I mean, is that a Muslim place?
That was a Muslim mosque that was erected much later.
Okay. But is that erected on the site of a Jewish temple at one time?
Somewhere on that platform is where the temple was built. It's unclear exactly where the spot is, but it was somewhere in that area where the temple actually stood.
And that's part of the reason we have so much strife in that area, because the two groups don't get along?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, but in Jewish faith, being that we're not allowed to walk on the spot if one is impure, so
by whose definition? By theirs?
By the Jewish definition.
By the Jewish definition.
Yeah, you have
Am
to
I
be
impure
pure.
by Jewish definition?
Huh?
Am I impure?
Well, there's ways of going.
Could
through
I walk there? In other words,
Yeah.
no.
Well, there's ways of going through a purification process, and most of us, part of that is bringing a sacrifice, which is something that we can't do today.
Like a dog? What do you bring?
Well, sacrifice an
animal. Money?
An animal. Either
you can't
either
just pay. You can't pay like $40 or something.
That's the easy way out.
Yeah.
Well,
Since there is such a controversy, is there ever going to be a time when both countries are going to live in harmony, do you think? Do you think they'll learn to share with each other?
Well, the problem is that you are dealing with people who are not looking for peace. They're looking for one thing, and that's to throw the Jews back in the sea, as they've said many times. They don't want the Jewish people to be there, period. And anytime there is any spot that is controlled, that is under Jewish control, that is already devastating to their beliefs. And until that changes, and until they stop educating their children in that way, and until they stop trying to teach the world that this is what they believe, there can never be peace. Because the Israelis are always welcome to peace, but when you're dealing with people who want nothing but to get rid of them and to throw them and completely destroy the Jewish people, then you can never have peace.
That is so devastating.
So glad you live in Florida.
So
I'd be worried for you if you were over there. All right, we can take a little break, and we'll be right back. Rabbi Yossi Hecht is in the studio. Rabbi Hecht has been our friend now for a few years.
Yeah, thank you.
I think with the first time you came in, you were a little bit nervous. You didn't know what to expect from us, right? You were on guard.
Well,
Yes.
I look like a big German guy. I know.
Yeah.
It's always nerve-wracking for a Jew. I know. I grew up with my friend Bobby Coleman. My friend Bobby Coleman used to tell me. He used to say, "Your people killed my people" when we were kids.
Oh.
I was like, "Oh man."
Well, you always bring
And then I have that
here.
last
Yeah,
name.
that's right.
I have the W Hitler. I mean, that's what my name looks like. You know, so it's very nervous. So don't.
It is very
But I'm a
nervous.
kind,
That's okay.
I'm a
You're
kind
a
and
great
gentle
guy.
man.
Yes, you are. You're gentle.
And
You won't hurt
I
anybody.
got some chocolate gelt from Rabbi.
Chocolate gelt, and we have dreidels here, and we also
Oh, you
have
brought some dreidels?
a menorah here, and
Oh, excellent. All
I
right.
want to say out there, if anybody does need a menorah or a dreidel, we can get it to you free of charge. Let us know. Give us a call, and we'll be happy to get you a menorah.
Oh,
if
excellent.
you don't have one.
Oh, wow.
What number can they call?
291-2218.
Got it?
Excellent.
Okay. We'll take a little break. We'll be right back with Rabbi Hecht.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. Nice day today with times of clouds and sun. The high 68 to 72. Partly cloudy tonight. Lows will range from the mid and upper 40s across the interior to about 54 along the coast. For tomorrow, intervals of clouds and sun and warmer. High 73 to 77. And on Sunday, mostly cloudy with a passing shower. High 74 to 78. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
This weather brought to you by Florida Thoroughbred Breeders and Owners Association, FTBOA.
Did you know that thoroughbred horses annually contribute $1 billion to the Sunshine State's economy and employ over 12,000 people, more than even baseball spring training? To learn more about the horse capital of the world or to join the membership of the FTBOA, the Florida Thoroughbred Breeders and Owners Association, please check out ftboa.com.
News Talk 1370, WOCA invites you to discover your full business potential. News Talk Radio is the perfect environment for your advertising. WOCA's News Talk format pinpoints information-hungry, better educated, high-income adults, so use us to talk to them. Call 732-8000, 732-8000. We're Ocala News Talk Radio. News Talk 1370, WOCA.
All right, 9 minutes before 10 o'clock, Rabbi Yossi Hecht is in the studio, and we are in the fourth day of Hanukkah?
This is the third day. We'll be lighting tonight, the fourth.
And let's see, explain the dreidel. Where's the dreidel you said you brought in?
Here's the dreidel.
All right. I still got the one you gave me on my refrigerator. And how do you play the game? How do you
have
play?
your dreidel on your refrigerator?
Yeah, you gave it to me. Is that okay? I mean, is that
on top of your refrigerator?
Yeah, not in the refrigerator.
Okay, I'm trying to understand.
Yeah.
Well, the dreidel is an old Jewish custom connected to Hanukkah because we're told that, as I explained before, the Greeks, when they entered Jerusalem and they banned the Jewish people from keeping any of the Jewish traditions, including studying the Torah, which is the Jewish Bible. And they were not allowed to study, but in self-sacrifice, they would go and hide and study in privacy and secrecy. Now, the Greeks would go out and seek people who were studying and give them severe punishments, even if it meant death. And even children wanted so much to study, they would go with their teachers and study in private. And what they would do is they would take out their scrolls, and if they heard that there were Greek soldiers coming, they would quickly hide the scrolls, and they would take out these little tops called dreidels, and they would say, "We're not studying, we're just playing dreidel." And this saved them. And so this is where the tradition of the dreidel comes from. And on most dreidels, you'll see 4 Hebrew letters on each of the side. And one is the letter Nun, one is the letter Gimel, one is the letter Hey, and the letter Shin. This stands for the Hebrew words Nes Gadol Haya Sham, which means a big miracle happened there, referring to Jerusalem. So when we play dreidel, in order to remember the miracle, it even says on it letters which recognize the miracle that happened. And the way it works is, based on the letter that it lands on, that is what you'll get. So if you put a pot of coins in the middle, and each one gets a few coins to start with, and when you spin it, so if it lands on Nun, you'll get nothing. If it lands on the letter Hey, then you'll get half. Hey is like half. Mm-hmm. If it lands on the letter Gimel, then you'll get everything. And if it lands on the letter Shin, then you lose some, you have to put it in.
Oh, okay.
That's how the game works.
Now I understand it.
Let's play it later on.
Yeah.
I can remember those rules.
Here you got one.
That sounds like a lot.
And you
of
can
fun.
play with the chocolate coin.
When children are growing up, Larry and I had the privilege of you invited us to the upsheerness of your son, which was very, very moving, and it was a lot of fun. When the children are learning how to speak, do you also teach them Hebrew?
Yeah, actually, my children are educated in Hebrew as much as they are in English, and mm-hmm. they go to a Jewish preschool where they are able to learn both. And my daughter learns; she's able to read almost complete words in Hebrew as well as in English.
Mm-hmm. So, do you speak Hebrew in your home?
We don't speak Hebrew, but we pray in Hebrew. We say
okay.
blessings in Hebrew. So
So I mean, you wouldn't say, "Can you pass the sugar?" in Hebrew. You would say that in English.
yeah, we speak between each other in English.
But you would praise God in Hebrew.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. All
And
our
how do you do
prayers
that?
are all in Hebrew.
How do you say something like that? Give me a
The word blessing is baruch.
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 Yeah.
Okay. Just baruch, like you baruch your meal. You're blessing your meal.
Yeah. That's how you say blessing.
Okay.
Do you do your services in Hebrew?
Our services are in Hebrew.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, really?
A famous Hebrew word is shalom, which means
I know that one.
peace.
Peace. Yeah.
Right.
What have you gone to Shalom Park?
I've been there. It's a
Do you think they
beautiful
spelled
place.
it wrong, or am I a misunderstanding? I thought they spelled it wrong over there.
You can't really misspell it if it's a Hebrew word that you're writing in English,
Oh, really?
right? You could spell it however,
Oh, I see
however
what you're
it
saying.
sounds
As
right.
long as it sounds okay. But have you seen the spelling over there?
Well, it's SHOLOM.
Right, I think so.
Well, some people spell like that. Some people would spell it with an A.
Okay.
So you've probably seen it both ways.
No wonder they didn't reply to me when I wrote them.
When a person wants to come to you and convert to being a Jewish person, what kind of steps do you go through? Do you allow that?
Yeah, we do allow conversions.
Circumcision is first.
Although, he's already making trouble.
Yeah,
All right,
right.
so you want to convert?
No.
We'll take care
I'm
of it.
already circumcised. I had it done. I did when I was a kid. I didn't know. Everybody was talking about. I said, "Am I or am I not?" I don't know. Well, now I know.
Well, it's basically a process where we have to first see that a person is willing and able to live as a full Jew and willing to completely change their lifestyle. And when we see that a person is that sincere and that serious about it, then we'll go ahead and go through the process, which basically demands of someone to get a circumcision, as you mentioned, to go into a ritual bathing called a mikvah, and to accept all the godly commandments. Now, I would say that in Judaism, we don't believe in proselytizing. We believe that everybody is created with a purpose, and everybody's created for their own mission and goal in life, and that they should see, however it is that they were created, to use that out in the best way. And if you are created in a particular religion, as long as you are living and believing in God in that way, and you keep what is known as the 7 Noahide laws, which is the 7 commandments given to Noah, which are basically universal peace laws, such as believing in God, to not to kill, not to steal, to set up a judicial system, to be kind to animals, and so on. Then everybody is doing their part in making a moral and a just world.
Do you know what I want to ask you?
so wise.
I got 2 movie questions to ask you. First of all, have you seen either the new movie Noah or the new movie, was it Exodus? Is
Yes.
that the one?
I haven't seen any of them, but I've heard reviews both ways.
And I've heard that they are not biblically accurate. Have you heard that?
I've heard that by some.
I don't want to go see it if it's not, because if I want to learn, I want to learn the right way. Let me guess.
Look, it's Hollywood, okay? Hollywood has to dramatize a story.
But don't they ever get it right? I mean, is there a movie out there that you actually think gets it right?
Exactly right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
No.
Not anything that I've seen.
Are there any good Hanukkah movies? Like we have in Christmas, we have the Miracle on 34th Street.
Street, yeah.
What's the other one we have? It's a Wonderful Life.
It's a Wonderful Life.
Are there any
yeah.
good Hanukkah movies you can recommend?
I don't know.
You don't
I don't
see-
know of any specific Hanukkah movies.
I think Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Maybe.
You could. You'll just try.
wait!
just to
I know
fiddle
one.
around the roof.
I know one. Adam Sandler. It's a cartoon. Eight
Yeah,
Crazy Nights.
8 Crazy Nights.
Yeah, well, that's not a movie. I mean, if you mean like a full movie.
Well, that's a movie.
Yeah,
with real people and not a cartoon.
right.
It's a full
Yeah.
length.
Is it a
Oh.
full length movie?
Yeah, it's a cartoon. Yeah,
Okay.
you might like it. Do you like Rugrats?
Yeah, works for me. Whatever.
Rabbi, thank you as always for coming in here. Happy Hanukkah.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. I think you got a fan outside. That is Ida. Ida, are you Jewish, Ida? I didn't know that.
Jewish.
Okay, there you go.
There we go. All right. God bless you. Happy Hanukkah.
Rabbi,
Shalom.
Rabbi, thank you so much. We'll be right back.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Fox News Radio on